Yeah, please do not contact these people. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. These people, they take any type of criticism as harassment on Twitter, and harassment is like literally punching them in the face. So please, by all means, do not contact these people. I'm just making this video so you guys can see what's happening in the industry, and we can talk about a topic that's not being covered anywhere else on YouTube. I don't think even Jeremy is covering it. So without further ado, there is a problem. Yeah. What I like about social justice, and this is something really funny, they care about other cultures, you see. So much so as they want to protect other cultures from culturally appropriating them. Because if you wear a hat or you wear a Halloween costume or you have a particular hairstyle, then you're going to have a bunch of people with 23andMe testing kits in order to find out your heritage, your race, the blood and soil type of thing, to see if it's allowed that your particular ethnicity can have this particular hat. Very interesting, right? And they do this to defend other cultures which do not have the power to defend themselves and to protect the sacredity of the intellectual property that belongs to a culture. Now, with that said, recently, one of the foreign cultures is invading the West. And is quite popular. And we're talking about Japanese culture. It's in the West through anime, and it's also in the West through video games. And some of these video games and anime are not very politically correct. And because of that, the people from social justice have forgot about cultural appropriation, and they do exactly that. When it comes to translating, especially video games and anime, they appropriate the art of the artist, and they just make fan fiction at this point. They completely remove jokes. They completely write entirely different things in translation. Like in the case of Prison High School, there was one line in dialogue that in Japanese say, "Why, are you some kind of loser?" And the translator said, "Why, are you some kind of Gamergate supporter?" So you can understand what's going on here. They're pushing their own ideology. They're appropriating the Japanese culture to fit their narrative. And because of that, a lot of people dislike it. And they're voicing their concerns on the Twitter. So, for example, you have this guy, which is obviously overly exaggerating, saying that this world is lost. The P5 got censored. Social justice warriors run the industry while actual fans and nerds get stifled and are called pedos and misogynists. No matter how much we bitch, it just gets worse every day. So this is a very upset person that his entertainment is now being changed. And, you know, he's acting out of desperation. He's basically upset that he is the one that's driving the industry by paying money for these things. And you have a couple of gatekeepers that are injecting their ideology through translations. And this is what the response. And I hate how obnoxious these people... Why do they have to be so obnoxious, right? Because they say, how do people not understand that the job of the localization team is to change the aspects of a game for the audience that is localized for? This includes removing offensive jokes, right? And they post this little, you know, mic drop snippet, I guess, with Thanos, you know, doing his little song. This is like intellectual masturbation. It makes you look obnoxious. It's like when you say something that is very smart, but you don't wait for other people to give you the mic drop, so you drop the mic yourself to show, you know, like... is the type of person that makes dad jokes and laughs at his own jokes when everyone else is quiet. Now, if you genuinely agree that localization means removing offensive jokes, then you also need to agree that it's fair for China to remove all LGBT-ness from Hollywood. Because that's what they're doing, right? Now, at no point do I think that the community believes that offensive jokes should be removed. I don't think that the majority of people believe that. It's just that you take it upon yourself and are taking advantage that most of the customers here in the West do not speak Japanese, while most of the journalists and the people working at these places that are infested with social justice activists do speak Japanese. And they are the ones that are giving feedback to the Japanese developers. But, you know, fair is fair. Let's look at this article. It's like, anime needs to become more politically correct. Now, I looked high and low to see what bothers the social justice activists about anime. What is exactly so upsetting that needs to be censored? And I found a couple of things. Like, first of all, they don't like the titties. And, you know, I kind of get it because it makes your Westerner garbage that you call cartoons look like shit. I mean, there is no way in hell this can compare to this. I mean, it's not even close. It's like, we know where the money is going to go if you put these things together. It's like putting Mike Tyson and me into a ring. There's not even, like, the question of who's going to win. Another thing that they complain is about fascismus. And I generally look like, what on earth are they talking about fascismus in anime? Attack on Titan. Ah, very interesting. So, if you read the Attack on Titan story, spoiler, okay? If you don't know the story by now, I don't care. You know, like, you're going to find it out anyway. It's about a post-World War II setting where the culture of Eldians are treated like Jewish people by the Marleyans. So they have to wear armbands, they are being heavily oppressed, they are being beaten, they're treated like scum because, legend has it, 2,000 years ago, their ancestors committed mass genocide and the Marleyans stopped them. So it's a story about oppressing the people today for the sins that their ancestors committed. Does that remind you of something? Is that familiar with something? But wait, it gets better. It gets better. As you read the story, you find out that the Marleyans are actually being manipulated through the shadows and are actually being controlled by one of the oldest Eldians family. So, one of the oldest Eldians family is controlling the Marleyans to oppress the Eldians. Isn't that like a uchikushi story that, of course, the social justice activists are livid? Because, heaven forbid, young people would watch this anime and would start to question, well, maybe the world isn't like black and white. Maybe the world isn't like this race is good, this race is bad. Maybe everyone is people, and some people are pieces of shit while others aren't. It's not like people are representative, like I represent the genetics that I have been born with. It's like, you know, like if people have an opportunity to grab power and wealth while stepping on others, maybe they will do it. So this is why they hate this anime, because it goes against the narrative that they have created. One race good, other race is bad, right? Another anime that they chose to censor, Shield Hero. Now in Shield Hero, it's very interesting that the evil person isn't some maniacal dictator or some sort of powerful warlock or wizard. No, the evil person is a good-looking rich girl that is incredibly spoiled and didn't got spanked as a little kid. And the evil character is the embodiment of all the negative stereotypes that women have. Like, you could call it toxic femininity. She is vain, she is arrogant, she is manipulative, she is willing to lie in order to further her own agenda. She uses the men around her by playing the victim non-stop, and she accuses the hero of rape. And it turns out that the hero didn't. Now you can say, of course they're saying, oh, this is stereotypical, this is making women look bad. The entire show is filled with powerful women that are showing how a woman is supposed to be. The sister of this evil chick is actually a very kind-hearted girl, which is trying to set things right. The mother of this woman is actually the empress, which disagrees with her daughter's behavior and chastises the king for not punishing her as a little girl and spoiling her too much. And then you also have the animal companion that the hero is with, which starts off from the lowest of the low, like she used to be in slavery, and he manages to gain her trust, and it blooms into a beautiful friendship. So no, the anime is really not about stereotyping towards, you know, women. The anime is making people think maybe there are some women that are pieces of shit, just like there are some men that are pieces of shit. Can you imagine that? Like, maybe women are human too, and humans have flaws, and some humans are bad. And it's, you know, normal that some people can lie in order to manipulate and further their own goals. And in a society where you have a pretty face, people are going to be more lenient and they're going to believe you more. So this is why it actually made a great show, because, you know, when social justice makes their own little Western cartoons, they come off as incredibly preachy. They're really poorly drawn. And on top of all of that, it's just like one topic that I really cannot even connect with most of the time. But here, it's like, okay, this girl was very manipulative. she was very spoiled, and she was lying in order to get into a position of power. How many people don't know a person like that in their life? Men and female, like men and women. How many women do not know another woman that acts like that? You know, it's something that you can relate to. Like the girl that's in poverty, that was in slavery. How many people do not know a person like that? That's very kind, very nice. You know, you could even have like this leftist spin that wealth makes you into a piece of shit. It makes you greedy. It makes you not care about other people. And it's, you know, like once you have like all that wealth, it makes you not even see the little guy anymore. You could have that, but they don't. So when they say make anime politically correct, these are the animes that they hate. They're anime that goes against Western, I guess, leftism. Because that's the thing, you know, like they keep saying, oh, we're defending black culture. Oh, we're defending this. Most of these other cultures, like Hindi culture, Islamic culture, you know, they really do not challenge the left ideology. But Japan is an exception because Japan actually makes video games and makes anime that people from the West really enjoy, especially young people, especially the new generation. And it gets them to think. It gets them to think about other possibilities that the social justice narrative simply lacks. Like, name me a Western movie or a TV show or something like that that has a woman that is abusing her social status. Okay? When Westerners try to make strong women, they usually give them a mallet and they show, oh, look, because they can beat 4 or 5 guys, they're much more stronger than other women and other characters. But in reality, George R.R. Martin was successful in making Game of Thrones because Cersei was actually a strong and very intimidating and scary woman. Cersei wasn't good at combat. She wouldn't be able to fare against the mountain. She wouldn't be able to defeat Jon Snow. In fact, any man, you know, put in a room with Cersei, after he would challenge her to a trial by combat, he would win. Right? Now, if you were to take Harley Quinn, Harley Quinn would win against the mountain. That's for sure. That's for sure. But when it's about, you know, Cersei, her power doesn't rely in brute strength and physique. Her power relies in her social connections, in her status, in her manipulations, in the way she knows how to play people against each other. And that is an interesting character because that is a believable character. I can definitely believe something like that exists, but it's very difficult for me to believe that a woman with a mallet that can do gymnastics is able to beat someone like the mountain in real life. You know, that's too much of a stretch of imagination to me. But anyway, right, let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys later on my live stream.